Hello, my name is Martin Kane and I am part of the Waimate March 2018 intake for the MindLab postgraduate program. The following video is my own work with references to other sources presented together at the end. Because the proposed solutions to my assessment's problem are pertinent and based on some research I undertook in 2013, the first few minutes of this video gives a brief overview of that process and its outcomes. In 2012, I saw a few students who were bringing personal, internet-capable devices to school, and I knew that the time was coming, I estimated 5 years, when these devices would be prevalent, and that this was the chance for my school, Craighead, to prepare itself for a pedagogical shift in teaching and learning. Another colleague with research experience joined me, and we gathered a team of 5 enthusiastic teachers who were keen to trial what happened to learning when every student had their own device. We were well supported by the principal, and after a few months of introductions of the idea to the Year 9 parents and the Board of Trustees, other key members of senior management came around to supporting the plan. Hattie, in 2009, indicated in his book Visible Learning, a synthesis of over 800 meta-analyses relating to achievement, that research over the last 30 years had failed to provide conclusive evidence that the introduction of computers improved student learning. So we were somewhat on our own and prepared to remain open-minded about the outcomes. The trial group of 22 students was balloted, since there were 44 interested. During the project, each new innovation was assessed by the teacher, a peer, and the students against the key competencies, the time to implement, and it was placed on a SAMR-based scale. Significant discoveries were fed back to the general teachers, for example, the use of Erasmus and Google Forms, and to EduCamp events, which we held over the year. The 2013 project was incredibly successful, and in the Core Education Ed Talk, we refer to the outcome of students who, 1, were highly collaborative, 2, were able to clearly indicate where they and each other were in their learning in all subjects, 3, were able to identify how they would go about progressing to their next stage of understanding. Sadly, in response to some earthquake damage, the Board of Proprietors introduced a new $1,000 building levy in 2014, and so the undertaking of a year-level BYOD program informed by this research was abandoned for fear of losing students to increasing costs. In 2015, the BYOD program was resurrected, but as funding for technical time and support became more limited, it was cancelled again the following year. As a result of this, I decreased my use of blended learning activities and resorted back to what some would call the tried and true, presenting an idea on the whiteboard and then having the students practice that idea. The problem then arises that the number of problem-solving skills the students practice in my classes is now significantly reduced and less learner-driven, and the time constraints of answering questions fall back onto, primarily, me, the teacher. Furthermore, the stakeholders, that is, the students, spend time ineffectively, waiting for a limited pool of solutions to meet their needs. They have not indicated that they're upset at all, but they are unaware of the potential opportunities out there should I re-employ some of those 21st century learning skills. And so my area for improvement. In my Year 11 mathematics classroom, I have 23 students, and all are very active in their learning and aware of their misunderstandings lie. Data from the students' feedback in early April has indicated that, currently, their primary solutions for improving their knowledge are to 1. Ask their neighbour, 2. Put their hand up and wait for me to visit, 3. Look at the answer and work backwards, and the next most popular solution is to give up. At the same time, I have a very talented and capable student, Sophie, who loves helping others. I recently recalled back to a small part of the 2013 iPad program where students would create tutorial videos for each other and realise that this is the perfect opportunity to resurrect that and see how things have changed. There is a wealth of research to demonstrate that a learner will become more confident in a skill when they undertake to teach that skill to others. At the end of 2013, one of the focus groups involved in the program indicated that the videos alone on YouTube were not good enough to help, but that when placed into an e-book, Book Creator, they became more valuable. One option I have is to use the 21st century skills identified in the Microsoft's ITL research of ICT in learning and of knowledge construction with Sophie, and have her take her assistance of individuals from the verbal to another level. If we look at the rubrics for the two of those, use of ICT in learning fully covered right to a high level. The knowledge construction, however, only extends to level 4 because it is not currently interdisciplinary. Other 21st century skills are less directly related, but if Sophie responds to queries and feedback, there would be evidence of her also using self-regulation. Sophie would prepare and present video tutorials, uploading these to YouTube as unlisted videos, and providing the links around the maths rooms on posters using QR codes. When this is contrasted with using existing video material that is already on YouTube or LearnCoach, for example, one key advantage is that the language Sophie uses is specifically that used by her peers to learn the skill. For example, a tutoring video may use the word diagonal to indicate a line extending to an opposite corner, whereas Sophie can choose to describe it using more accessible language. Instead of using QR codes, the same video activation could be achieved using HP Reveal, previously known as Aurasma, as shown in our 2012 Mihi wall, where a trigger image activates a video clip, but students have indicated a dislike of adding apps to their phones and prefer to use the native ones like YouTube and Camera. Further, there is a steeper learning curve for storing and sharing videos on Aurasma, and that will make it more difficult to implement if, in the future, I extend this online tutorial concept to multiple year levels and multiple students. A third option would be to extend these videos into multimedia ebooks as we did in 2013, but that is an extra step distance from the status quo, and success, according to the 2002 article Conditions for Classroom Technology Innovation, is more likely with small steps. If considering the TPACK approach, I intend to create video tutorials bringing together the 21st century pedagogical skills of knowledge construction and use of ICT for learning, together with the technology of YouTube and QR codes, in the context of graphs and algebra in mathematics. A review of the project at the end of Term 2 will hopefully demonstrate reduced dependence on the teacher for answering questions.